There's an element of fiction that, if your story has it, will grab your reader's attention and not let it go until they've finished the story. But if your story doesn't have it, you're pretty likely to lose your reader well before they've even gotten well into your story. What is this element? Well, it's a bit abstract, but at the same time, absolutely essential. This is something that I studied back in graduate school. Wasn't really aware of it until then. This comes from John Gardner's The Art of Fiction. The word John Gardner gives to this element of fiction is profluence. Profluence, as Gardner describes it, is our sense as we read that we're getting somewhere. As I said, this might feel a little abstract, but you probably understand it if you're a reader yourself, and I hope you're a reader if you're trying to be a writer. If you're not, you're going to have difficulties. As a reader, we like to read things, most of us do, most of the time, like to read things that are going somewhere. Because reading, in a sense, particularly when we're reading fiction, is about being taken on a journey. And I don't necessarily mean the hero's journey or any specific plot structure like that. I mean, it's supposed to transport us. That's why I read anyway, and that's why a lot of people I know read. Most of the readers I know, and I know a lot of readers, we read to be transported, not necessarily to another world, but to another view of the world, to somebody else's view of the world, to live vicariously for a while, to enlarge our experience through the eyes of a fictional character's experience. There's all sorts of reasons why we read, but this idea of being transported out of our mundane, everyday experience into another one is absolutely key to fiction. And this idea of transport means we want to know that we're being taken somewhere that's worthwhile. We want to not waste our time. And it's really kind of the one biggest sin that a writer can commit, is to waste the reader's time. So, profluence is part of how we avoid doing that. But what does profluence really mean in a concrete sense? This is so abstract, getting somewhere. What can we say about that? Per Gardner, by definition and of aesthetic necessity, a story contains profluence, a requirement best satisfied by a sequence of causally related events, a sequence that can end in only one of two ways: in resolution, when no further event can take place, or in logical exhaustion, our recognition that we've reached the stage of infinite repetition. So the most basic surface level kind of profluence, this idea that we're getting somewhere, is plot. You have to think about plot. Now, Gardner is not trying to encourage us to write only cookie cutter, superficial, popular fiction. Gardner himself is a literary fiction writer. At the same time, he's defending, in a sense, traditional, conventional fiction. He's a conventional, traditional literary fiction author. And most fiction that most people read is conventional or traditional, as in it tells a story with a beginning, middle, and end. So he's not trying to talk to avant-garde fiction writers, to those who want to write experimental fiction. And it's fine if you want to do that. He himself does not criticize the position of trying to do that. It's just not going to attract as many readers. If that's your goal, is just to challenge the status quo, that's fine. But if your goal is to tell a good story and to reach a bunch of people with it and try to move people, this kind of profluence, creating some kind of plot, as in a sequence of causally related events, is essential. Doesn't mean you need to start with plot. Matter of fact, starting with plot usually ends to make those cookie cutter fictions, so you might not want to start there. But it does mean that plot needs to be a core consideration that you make through the creation of the story. Plot goes in concert with character and with setting and with every other element of fiction. None of them can be separated from the others. The order in which you decide to create them is up to you. Oftentimes, they come about together as you create the story. But plot is still essential. On a very surface level, the profluence of one thing after another, one thing following from another, we can reference this event as being caused by the previous event, and we can see this event potentially foreshadowing some other event to happen. That keeps us engaged. That keeps us engaged while we're reading or watching or listening to whatever story it happens to be. There's something going to happen next that we have been led to anticipate by what's happened already. causally related events, plot, profluence. That keeps us reading. That's one element of it. If we go a little deeper, though, I think profluence, the idea that we're getting somewhere, means that we're getting somewhere that matters. We're getting somewhere important. That the story is saying something, not preaching at us, not giving us a moral of the story that we can very easily pick off the surface level, but it's driving at something that matters to us, that we can make matter to us. I'm talking here about theme. There's a plot, there's a story that we can follow with causally related events, and that story matters. It's going to pay off in a way that means something to us, that shows us that we didn't waste our time. It's going to answer what I call the so what question. When I have my students analyzing things, when they're analyzing literature from a particularly reader's perspective, I tell them to answer the so what question. You're telling me that this character feels a certain way. So what? Why does that matter? Well, as authors, we also have to answer the so what question for our readers. At least in a sense, we have to give them something that matters, or we're going to write very forgettable fiction. If that's your goal, that's fine. But Gardner's trying to get more people to write better, serious fiction. And I can see his goal in this. So if you're trying to write good stuff and trying to improve and trying to grab your reader at the same time, you want to consider this. A basic character of all good art is a concord of ends and means, or form and function. We cannot read a whole novel in an instant, so to be coherent, to work as a unified experience necessarily and not just accidentally temporal, narrative must show some profluence of development. What the logical progress of an argument is to nonfiction, event sequence is to fiction. At least in conventional fiction, the moment we stop caring where the story will go next, the writer has failed and we stop reading. So again, plot. Give us a reason to keep on reading the story. But at the same time, Gardner says, a powerful part of our interest as we read great literature is our sense that we're onto something. And part of our boredom when we read books in which the vision of life seems paltry-minded is our sense that we are not. So it's not enough just to have plot. Having plot might get your reader through to the end of your story. And your reader might finish the story and say, oh, that was fun, set it aside, and forget about it completely. Never talk about it, never recommend it to his or her friends. Just, oh, that was a mildly entertaining piece of fiction. And it's fine if that's what you want to write. But most of us want to write, at least I do, and most of the people I talk to, want to write fiction that not only attracts a decent audience of readers, but also sticks in the reader's mind, that causes the reader to remember it, that makes the reader want to recommend it to other readers like them. That's part of the goal of a lot of fiction authors. So, if you want to do that, you need to go beneath the surface level. You need to give them something that matters, something that counts, something that thematically says something. Doesn't preach, doesn't try to push an agenda necessarily. Hell no, to the no, no, no. You can have an agenda behind it if you want to, but you want to disguise it as well as you can so you don't look like you're preaching, because that just gets annoying to the readers. But you still want to be saying something. There needs to be some deeper meaning that we can draw out of it. So I know these are esoteric concepts, and it can be hard to wrap our mind around them. It's not something necessarily to think of too deeply while you're doing your first draft. But when you are thinking about how your story is going to come across to the reader, you need to think about, okay, do I have an event sequence? Is all my sequences causally related in a way that keeps the reader reading forward and is going to get them to the end of my story? If you've answered that question, you've got that idea down. Now, this may not come into the fore until you've plotted your story out in full or even drafted it all the way through. But when you get to that end of the story and you're looking at it, okay, the causal event sequence is there, and each step leads to the next, so I'm driving the reader forward. Now, at the end, when the reader finishes the book, do they have a sense that they properly spent their time, that they didn't waste their time, that this was a worthwhile read, that they've got something to take away with them? And if they don't, you might need to go back and think about the themes and ideas that you're interweaving in your work, and if they're actually coming through, or if your work is empty and you don't actually have any ideas at the bottom of it, in which case you might need to go back to the drawing board. But chances are you have some thematic idea within there that you could develop without preaching. So, not the easiest thing necessarily to apply, which is why, again, I learned about it in graduate school. No one needs to go to graduate school to become a writer. Going to graduate school will not make you a writer, but I did learn a lot about writing in graduate school. And I will say that knowing about this profluence has helped me get a better objective editor's eye on my own work. Am I really creating that causally related sequence of events that holds the reader? Does each step lead to the next? And am I actually saying anything? Is there actually any reason for the reader, when they get to the end, to have read this story? Does it do anything for them? And what's the point of all this? Well, for Gardner, in the artist's recreation of the world, we are enabled to see the world. Through what lens are you going to show your reader your view of the world? Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped you out. Leave your comments below and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Consider becoming a member. We can go into even deeper into ideas like this and develop them out to become a better writer. Really trying to create some good members-only content there. It's cheap. Go ahead and click the join button down below if you're interested. I would appreciate it immensely. Thank you so much to my current members. And until next time, good luck and good writing. Peace.